Hey everyone, and welcome to our walkthrough of the 2022 Key Stage 2 SATs paper for Arithmetic. Let's dive straight in. So there's a front page, you'll fill in all your details and you go through the instructions with your teachers in school. And here's question 1. It's quite a straightforward one to begin with, but there is a little bit of a trick. You just have to make sure that you line your digits up. So the hundreds go in the hundreds column and then everything else will follow. You can add these up one at a time, or I like to put all three together because when we're doing addition, we can add more than two numbers together and we'll still get the right answer. So in the ones column, we have 15. In the tens column, we have 10 there with the 1. We have 1 plus 5 plus 6, which is 12, plus the 1, which is 13, and then 7 in the thousands. So the answer to question 1, 7,305. Let's take a look at question 2, and I can see already it's one of those which we can answer in 5 seconds. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Let's take a look at question 3. 10 plus blank equals 302. So we know that this number here has to be 10 less than our answer. So we can use the inverse and subtract 10. Now, there are no 10s. You might be thinking, can I just write it down in column method? Well, you could, then exchange. Or I like to think of this as 30 tens. So if I have 30 tens in my number, take away 1 10, I'm left with 29 tens, and the 2 stays in the ones column. The answer is 292. Question 4, 2,400 divided by 2. Well, we're just halving, and luckily both of our digits are even, so we can easily halve those and put our placeholders at the end. The answer is 1,200. Question 5. Something plus 70 equals 485. And again, this is all about the inverse operation. If we added 70 to get to the answer, then to work backwards, we're going to subtract 70. So 485, take off 70, nice and straightforward. The answer here is 415. A good start so far. Let's take a look at question 6. Decimals. And what do you notice straight away? Well, hopefully it's that this number has 2 decimal places and this number has 1. So I always tell my children at school to button up the shirt. Let's line these up. 6.48 plus my decimals in a row, just like on a shirt, 8.6. There's no danger of messing up my place value columns. Here I could put a placeholder of 0, and in the hundredths column we have 8 hundredths. 4 plus 6 is 10. Exchange over, and don't forget the decimal, else you won't get the mark. And in the ones column, we have 6 plus 8, which is 14, plus the 1, that's 15.08. Make sure you line up those digits. Question 7. Does it matter that the answer box is on the left-hand side? No, of course not. So let's just look at the right-hand side. 240 divided by 8. We could whack it into the bus stop, or we're going to train ourselves to be spotting those times table division facts. Let's treat this as just 24 for now. 24 divided by 8. We should, if we know our division facts, be able to answer that really quickly. And the answer is 3. So when the number is 10 times bigger and we divide by 8, the answer is going to be 10 times bigger as well. So the answer here is 30, and we just used our division facts. Question 8. 840 divided by 5. Now this is one we would just whack it into a bus stop just to divide by 5 and make sure we get this right. 1, 5 and 8 with 3 left over. 5's into 34 goes 6 times with 4 remaining, and then 5's into 40 is 8. The answer is 168. Just want to show you a quick shortcut for dividing by 5 here. You can divide by 10 and then times by 2, which might be useful in this question. So 840 divided by 10 is just 84. And then if we double 84, we get the same answer. And that might be something you can do more quickly in your head. Divided by 5 is the same as divided by 10, and then doubling it. Let's take a look at question 9, which is peeking through at the bottom there. This one is just a case of showing a solid understanding of the column method. 7,306 subtract 1,847. And this is something we see a lot in the SATs. Look at the ones column. 6 take away 7. We don't have enough ones at the top, so we're going to have to exchange. But of course, there are no 10s. So we're going to do a double exchange here. Take from the hundreds, now we have 10 tens. Take from the tens, now we have 9 tens with 16 ones. And we can start our calculation at last. 16 subtract 7 is 9. 9 subtract 4 is 5. 2 subtract 8. We're going to have to exchange once more for the final time. 12 take 8 is 400s, and 6 take 1 is 5,000s. The answer is 5,459. Take your time on these, making sure you're exchanging at the right point. Question 10. It looks quite simple, but there's lots of ones and zeros, and we could end up getting confused. So 1,010, and we are multiplying by 10. And straight away, when we multiply or divide by multiples of 10, so that's 10 or 100 or 1,000, we know we are shifting up and down the place value chart. If we multiply by 10, we're going to shift these digits to the left as they're getting bigger, and we're going to put a placeholder at the end. The answer here is 10,100. Let's look at question 11. 560 divided by 7. Again, guys, look, let's use our times table facts. If it was just 56 and we knew our times tables, we'd be able to answer this really quickly. 56 divided by 7 is 8. So if it's 10 times bigger to start with and we divide by 7, the answer is going to be 10 times bigger as well. The answer here is 80. Let's take a look at question 12. Now remember, guys, there's lots of questions, over 30 in this paper. You've got to be working at quicker than a question a minute. And hopefully so far you can see that some of these don't take long at all. Aha, multiplying 3 numbers together. So when we do this, it doesn't matter which order. Now I know multiplying by 10 is quite easy, so I'm going to save that to the end. So if I do 6 times 11 to begin with, I get 66. Then multiplying that by 10 is rather straightforward. The answer is 660. Remember, any order when you multiply numbers together, you get the same answer. Question 13. 1,080 divided by 9. You can put it into the bus stop if you want to, and you probably get this right. Or you could still use your times table facts. Imagine this is 108. Now I know that 108 divided by 9, because I know my times table's up to 12, is 12 lots of 9. So 1,080, which is just 10 times bigger again, this is the third question where we can use these facts, is 120. And that's my answer. Question 14. We're whizzing through, guys. 500,000 take away 5,000. Now these thousands don't really come into the calculation at all. Imagine I said 500 socks, take away 5 socks. 500 Mr. Price, take away 5 Mr. Prices. You're going to get the same answer. So 500 take away 5 is 495. And then we just have to make sure we include the thousands. So the answer here, 495,000. Making sure we're putting the right amount of zeros in. Don't want to lose some silly marks here. Question 15. 596 multiplied by 7. Guys, these questions, if we know our times tables and we've seen how important they are so far, should be our bread and butter. This is just some short multiplication. 6 times 7 is 42. 9 times 7 is 63, plus the 4 tens I already have, so that's going to be 67. 7 times 5 is 35, plus the 6, I'm going to get 41 hundredths, which translates to 4,172. Let's take a look at question 16. We're slowly approaching halfway. So 2.12 divided by 10. Again, I'm dividing by a multiple of 10. So I'm going to use my place value chart and move my digits up and down. 2.12, I want to divide it by 10. So it's going to go down 1 place in my place value chart. So I keep my decimal where it is. I'm going to shift this 2 down to the thousandths column. The 1 goes to the hundredths column, and this 2 sneaks over to the tenths column. So the answer is 0.212. And we're going to round it off and make sure we answer it correctly by putting a 0 in front of the decimal. 0.212. Question 17. And here we go. It's the first taste of our long division. So 21 is what we're going to be dividing by. So down the side, it's always good just to jot down some of the multiples of 21. Let's just go to 84 for now. We'll do more if we need to later. 21 into 67. How many times can we get up to 21? Well, let's take a look. 63, we can get there and we haven't gone past it. So that's going to be 3 lots of 21, gives us 63. Subtract 67 from 63, we get 4. Bring the 2 down. Aha, 42. That's 2 lots. So we can take off 42. We have nothing left over, and the answer is 32. We're going to need this later on for a trickier one of these. Question 18. Fractions. Don't we all love fractions? Well, first thing that should be setting off alarm bells in your head is that these denominators are different. Before we do anything with fractions, we're going to make the denominators the same. So let's keep 4/9, and we're going to add on 2/3. Well, I want the denominator to be 9ths. So I did 3 times 3 to get 9. I'm going to do the same to the top. So 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to substitute this in, and we get 6 plus 4 is 10 ninths, or we could write it as 1 whole and 1 ninth, and that's our answer. You're going to put either of those into the box. 10 ninths, or if we're going to tidy it up, 1 and 1 ninth. Question 19. Long multiplication. Now, all we have to do is partition this number 83 into times by 3 and times by 80. So let's start at the top. 7 3s are 21. I'm going to put the 2 straight in because 3 zeros are just 0. 3 times 6 is 18. Now, when we multiply by 80, remember, we can only use the 8 times table. So we're going to put a placeholder in for the 0. And now we can just use our 8. So 8 times 7, that's 56. I'm going to put that straight in because I know 8 times 0 is nothing in the tens column. So I can just whack that 5 straight up. And 8 times 6 is 48. We'll write those in the correct column and just add these up. And with a bit of arithmetic, we're going to get to the answer here, which is 50,381. Let's move on. We're getting there, guys. Question 20 now. 13.05. We are multiplying or dividing by 10, 100, 1,000. So we're going to just shift our digits up and down the place value chart. We're multiplying, so we're getting bigger. We're going to go to the left to increase our value. And we're going to do it by 3 places because there are 3 zeros in 1,000. And we're getting technical. It's because 1,000 is the same as times 10, times 10, times 10. And we know each jump in the place value table is 10 times bigger. So let's do that now. Let's move this 1 up 3 places. 1, 2, 3. Move the 3 up. 1, 2, 3. Move the 0 up. 1, 2, 3. 0 often gets left behind. We still need to make sure we move that up. And let's move this 5 up. 1, 2, 3. The decimal's here though. So the answer is not 1,305 because the ones column needs a placeholder. The answer is 13,050. And if we want to make a quick point here to check something, just imagine this 0.05 wasn't there. If we said 13 times 1,000, the answer would be 13,000. So we know the 13 has to be worth 1,000. So 1 and 3 go in the 10,000 and the 1,000 column. And the 50, we can just clean that up at the end, put it in, and we get 13,050. Question 21. More fractions. Lovely. This time the denominators are the same. So I'm going to do 2/3 plus 1/3 straight away to get these fractions together. And I know that's 1 whole. Plus I've got the 2 in the mixed number here. So I've got 1 whole plus 2. The answer is 3. Simple as that. Let's move on to question 22. 7/10 of 30. Well, we have to find 1/10 first. So we're going to divide the quantity by the denominator, which is 10. 1/10 is 30 divided by 10, which is 3. So if I want 7 of those tenths, I'm just going to do 7 times 3, which is 21. And that is our answer. We are whizzing through. Question 23. 8 subtract 5.123. Now, there are a few ways you can do this, guys. I'd like to use a little trick. I know when I'm going complements to 1, or in this case, complements to 8. We want to get to the next whole. So to get to the next whole, the first job is, can we just get rid of this 5 straight away? 8 take away 5 is 3. So now we're left with 3 take away 0.123. So we know the answer is going to start with a 2 because we're going to dip down into 2 point something. And what we need to do here is make every column add up to 9/10 or 9/100 until we get to the final place. And in this case, that's in the thousands. So let me show you what I mean. 1 plus 8 is 9. So we have 9/10. 2 plus 7 is 9. So we have 9/100. And when we get to the end, here's when we want it to tip over and make 10. So 3 plus 7 is 10. So the answer to this question is 2.877. And if you wanted to check that your math was correct, you could use the inverse operation. Let's add 0.123 back on. And you can see what I mean by when the last column equals 10, we exchange over a 1. That's why each column before that needs to add up to 9, because 9 plus the 1 is 10. 9 plus the 1 is 10. And then finally, we add it on to the 1's column to get 3. And we've already taken care of the 5 to get us back up to 8. So the answer is 2.877. Question 24. 1/8 divided by 2. Now, there's a few ways we could do this. When we're dividing, we could flip the fraction upside down and multiply. We know that. Or in this case, I'd like to just think of it as eighths like this. So imagine we've got a pizza or a cake or whatever you want it to be, and we split that into eighths. Okay, so that's 1/8. I'm going to divide that by 2. So this fraction, this eighth here, is getting smaller. Every single eighth here has been split in half. So before I had 8 pieces, now I have 16. So I know that 1/8 halved would give me 1/16. That's just a different way of working out. What we could have done is 1/8 multiplied by 1/2 by flipping it over, and we would have got 1/16 as well. But there are ways sometimes we can use visual cues to help us. Either way, the answer to this question is 1/16. Question 25. 1/2 plus 1/3. Now, denominators aren't the same. First job. But we actually have to change both of them. Let's find the lowest common multiple. We can do this just by multiplying these numbers together. That's one way of doing it. It might not always be the lowest, but it's going to work here. And the answer is 6. So we know that we can change both denominators into 6. We're going to cross multiply. So we need to multiply 1/2, the numerator and the denominator by 3. We get 3/6. Plus, cross multiply the other side by 2 on the numerator and denominator. We get 2/6. If we add them together now, we get 5/6. And we can give that as our answer. Question 26. It's another one of those tricky decimal questions. Well, 26, we can take away the 2 straight away. So we're left with 24. So now we have a case of 24, take away 0.012. Now remember what I said earlier. We're going to dip into 23. So our answer definitely starts with 23. And we're going to make these digits, if I write it up here so it's clearer, each column is going to add up to 9. Until we get to that final column to tip all the others over like a domino effect. So 0 plus 9 is 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. And then here's where we want it to add up to 10. So it's going to be 2 plus 8. So the answer is 23.988. We can test it if you want and you've got time in the test. 2 plus 8 is 10. Here's that domino. 1 plus 8 is 9, like we said, plus the 1, domino. Plus the 1 here gives us 10, which gives us another domino, gets us to 24. We can add the 2 back on using the inverse and we get to 26. That answer is correct. 23.988. Question 27. Now we need to find 15% of 3,200. And the best way to approach these questions is to use a toolbox. So we know 10%. 10% of a number, we just divide it by 10. So 10% of 3,200 is 320. 5% is going to be half of 10%. So in this case, it's going to be half of 320, which is 160. And look at that, guys. If we add these two together, we get 15%. So we're going to add these two values together, and we're going to get our answer, which is 480. Let's move on. Question 28. Another percentage. Wow, easy peasy. So 2% of a value. Well, 1% is going to be the quantity divided by 100. So in this case, it's going to be 30. Because we know that we can divide, shift our digits past the decimal and get 30, which means 2%, we're going to make that link. That's double 1%. So let's double our answer here, and we know 2% is equal to 60. That's our answer, and we move on super quick. Question 29. Here it is, guys. Here's that long division that I said earlier we're going to need again. So 73 this time we're dividing by. Now, we need to write down some multiples of 73. So I'm doing it rather quickly here. You can add 70 and add 6 and do that yourself. However you feel fit to write down some multiples. So I know the next one will be 280 plus 12. So it's going to be 292. Again, if I need some more, I'll come back and do them. But let's start to solve for now. 73 into 3, no. 73 into 30, no. We're going to have to go 73 into 306. Now, luckily, 4 lots gets us to 292, which is very close. So that's going to be the first step. If I do 306, take away 292, I'm left with 14. And if I drop that 6 down, have you seen it? 146 is 2 lots. So I'm going to take 2 lots off, and I'm left with 0. The answer is 42. 3,066 divided by 73 is 42. Get the marks and move on, guys. Question 30, 80% of 115. Now, guys, there's lots of ways you can do this. You could work out 10% and then multiply it by 8 to get 80%. That's fine. I've actually noticed something. I know that 80% is the same as 4/5. And maybe you might be more confident doing fraction of an amount. It's up to you how you solve this, guys. I'm going to show you fraction of amount here. So 115 divided by 5. We're going to get 0 there, 2, 1 left over, and 3. So I know 1/5 is 23. I want 4/5 to get 80%. So I'm going to do 23. That's 24, sorry. I've got the next step in my head. 23 multiplied by 4. We're going to get 3 4s are 12. 4 2s are 8, plus the 1 is 92. And the answer to this question is 92. Why don't you try working out 10% and multiplying by 8, see if you get the same answer. I guarantee you will. Question 31. 2/7 take away 1/9. Alarm bells are ringing in my head. The denominators are different. Let's cross multiply and make them the same. So 2/7, I'm going to multiply both sides of that by 9, and I'm going to get 18, and 9 7s are 63. Subtract, cross multiply now, we're going to multiply both sides of this fraction by 7, and we're going to get 7 over 63. And I'm left with a super easy question with the denominator of 63. 18 take away 7 is 11. The answer to this question is 11 over 63. We are making light work of this test, guys. Well done. Let's take a look at question 32. Oh, okay. So straight away, I noticed the denominators are different. Let's just make those the same. We're going to cross multiply again. So we've got 2, and this time I'm going to multiply this by 3 because I'm cross multiplying. So I get 2 and 3/6. Subtract, and because I'm cross multiplying, I'm going to multiply this side by 2, the numerator and denominator, and I'm going to get 4/6. Okay, so this has made another question for us to do. 2 and 3/6, subtract 4/6. Well, let's take away 3/6 straight away, which means I've got only 1/6 left to subtract. And I know that 2 subtract 1/6, I could rewrite 2, couldn't I, as 12/6. And then I could take away 1/6, and I get 11/6. And that's my answer. But I'm going to tidy it up. 11/6 is equivalent to 1 whole and 5/6. And that's the answer. 1 whole and 5/6. We're getting towards the end now. Let's take a look at question 33. Another long multiplication question. So we're going to partition 67 again. We're going to times it by 7 and then times it by 60 using a placeholder. Let's get going. Guys, you need to know your times table facts, else you'll never be able to answer these questions. 7 times 8 is 56. Let's exchange that 5. 7 7s are 49 plus 5 is going to give us 54. 7 times nothing is just nothing. So we put the 5 up straight away. And 7 4s are 28. So at the top, I'm going to rewrite it over here so it's clear. We have 28,546. At the bottom, we're going to put a placeholder straight in. And now we can use our 6 times table. 6 times 8 is 48. So we exchange over. 6 7s are 42. Plus the 4 is going to be 46. 6 times nothing is nothing. So we just whack that 4 straight up. And 6 4s are 24. Again, guys, going to write it over here in the right column, lining up my place value charts. 244,680. Now, we just add these up and we get the answer. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 8 is 12. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 1 is 12. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And just whack that 2 down in the 100,000s column. The answer is 273,226. Amazing. Let's move on. Question 34. 10 take away 2 1/4. Guys, this is the way I like to do it. I'm going to do 10 take away 2 straight away. So I'm going to get 8. And now I've only got 1/4 left to take off. So 8 take away 1/4. I'm going to show you a method here I like to use. 8 is the same as 7 plus 1 whole, right? And we know we can write 1 whole as 4/4. So I've got 7 and 4/4, take away 1/4. I want you to take a second just to see how these are the exact same. 8 is the exact same as 7 plus 4/4, because that's just 7 plus 1. So now I've got 7 plus 4/4, take away 1/4, I'm left with 7 and 3/4. Hopefully that's really simple for you guys to use in the future. Let's take a look at question 35. Guys, we can see the finish line. We're getting there. Well done. 6 plus 4 divided by 2. Aha! BIDMAS or BODMAS, however you've heard it before. We know the order of operations. We must divide before we add. Brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Division comes before addition. So let's do 4 divided by 2 first is 2. And then we just whack the 6 down. 6 plus 2 is 8. Seems like an easy question, but if you don't know BIDMAS, you're going to do 6 plus 4 first, which is 10, divide by 2, and you're going to get it wrong. The answer is 8. Question 36. And this, I believe, is the final question. So 4/5 times 400. I'm going to tell you something, guys, in the SAT. If you see this multiplication symbol, you can just think of it like of. What is 4/5 of 400? We can think of it like this. 5 lots of 6. Yeah? Kind of a tenuous link there. But you can see it just means of. So we're going to finish with a fraction of an amount question. We're going to divide by the denominator. So 400 divided by 5 to get the 5 equal parts. We're going to get 0 there, exchange over, we get 8, and we put our place value in there for 0. So 1/5 is 80. And then to get 4/5, we multiply that by 4. Use our times table facts. 8 times 4 is 32. Put on your placeholder. The answer to that question is 320. And there we have it. Look, end of test. We have finished our walkthrough. Guys, I really hope you found that useful, and watch out because we're going to be going through the other maths papers of the 2022 SATs. See you next time.